Shawty fucking undercover. Shawty gon' get me in trouble. Yeah, money in my cup, make it double. Yeah, you know me, babe. I've been going crazy lately. I've been on my own of late. Fell in love in lonely days. First I told my mom, it's just my brothers. Hope you know I love you. Put no one above you, babe. I'm a thug, but on the low, I still love cuddles, baby. Yeah, bubble. Shawty fucking undercover. Shawty gon' get me in trouble. Yeah, money in my cup, make it double. You know me, babe. You gon' crazy.
I've just been feeling really low, I'm in my feelings lately. Got me pouring up before, shit's been muddy, baby. You always act like you don't know, but really you people, baby. My shit bang on the speaks, baby. Bump that shit if you feel me, baby.
Riding around in the city, let's try to track. Stop. She move around in the party, but I wanna track. How? I told her that on my cock going triple, I'm that sauce. Yeah, bubble. Shawty fucking undercover. Shawty gon' get me in trouble. Yeah, money in my cup, make it double. Yeah, you know me, babe. I've been going crazy lately. I've been on my own of late. Fell in love in lonely days. First I told my mom, it's just my brothers. Hope you know I love you. Put no one above you, babe. I'm a thug, but on the low, I still love cuddles, baby.
It's that time of the week where the hottest Kenyan millennials jazz up your afternoon with their refreshing live talk show. You are now tuned in to the 254 Millennial Talk.
Hivi wako unakuwa unafanya mapema
Fanya mapema jeni.
Kuna lighting. Natumia so many artificial lights, man.
So nataka tulete show nini saa 10?
Oh.
Anyway, it's Bloody Actor, guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of the 254 Millennial Talk. Hopefully you've had a lovely week. Yes, at least the weather is back to being sunny, which is more preferable for me. I think most people like the colds, but yeah, I like it when it's hot because I'm hot myself, so you know. But yeah, again, if you enjoy listening to the show, make sure you listen to it on the podcast platforms: Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, I don't know, pretty much everywhere. You can listen to us. You can even copy paste the RSS link on VLC and you should be able to see our episodes. But yeah, today we are here with Mr. Slutman, my usual co-host, and also I think you had seen the other previous scene earlier, which showed you that there's also Mr. Justanad, Mr. Jan is here as well today. It's been a minute since he's last been on the show, but yeah, Mr. Slutman.
Hello.
Okay.
That's good to be back. I'm sure you can hear me.
I can hear you. No, I can hear. I'm saying I was just asking you to say hi. We have Jan. We have Mr. Jan.
Hello.
Yes, for now.
Glad to be back. Yes, sir. Glad to be back on the show.
You can also see Higgs has joined. Higgs salimia watu.
Wagwan.
All right.
Wagwan.
The topic of discussion today is Thor, Love and Hammers, aka Thor, Love and Thunder. Now, it will become apparent why I've named it Thor, Love and Hammers, because there's a lot of hammer puns in the fucking movie that, dude, I don't know. It's just cringe stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think I've said this before, but the MCU movies seem to have lost some form of direction, where every movie that comes out, and I think I was watching a video. Let me pull up this forum post. I was watching a video. Like a few minutes ago before I went live, and I think I posted it on the forum. No, not clips. I'm on the wrong forum. Still getting used to it. But on the forum of under the references forum, under Thor, Love and Hammers, I posted a video that kinda summarizes what's happening to the MCU right now, and I think he gave a pretty good explanation where these films are no longer becoming like about individual characters. It's more about, they're becoming more and more about cameos and who's going to show us who's the next big bad. Like every film that has come out after Infinity War is like, it's like they're trying to set it up like Infinity War, when in reality, as you know, the MCU began with, like single character films. Like Iron Man was Iron Man, Captain America was Captain America, Hulk was the Hulk, whatever, and which was Thor, right? So it seems that they have deviated from that, something that, of course, I think most people gravitated towards, and I think he brought, in the video, he brought a very good point where he said, the main point or the main excitement of seeing Avengers together is because in their movies, you don't see them together, right? So now when they when they choose to assemble and actually fight some crime or fight some big bad, it becomes more meaningful. The movies become more meaningful, where in this case, as you can see, most movies now are just, it's like there has to be a cameo. Like, let's just be honest, what were the Guardians of the Galaxy doing in Thor? I felt like the movie would have just been fine without us seeing them in the movie, because they served no purpose other than, Peter Quill saying, Ati, you, my friend, you seem like you don't know who yourself is, and all that kind of stuff. All those, the typical cliche ways of telling someone they need to find themselves. I feel like that should have been, I don't know. I don't feel like they really served a purpose in the film, other than, I felt like they were forcefully added in the movie because at the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be in Thor. It's like a clickbait for you to actually go and watch the movie. No. But what do you guys think? Let me give you others a chance to speak. Slutty, what did you think about the movie, first of all?
I think you're fairly correct in saying that. I don't understand why they were in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It felt like they were there for filler or to attract people to go and watch the movie. And then immediately after the first 10 minutes, realize that these guys are not really going to be in the movie for that long. And you can't leave because the rest of the movie is boring. And they could not afford to pay all the Guardians to stay in the movie for the whole movie. So just felt like they were there to attract people to come and watch the movie, because we really didn't see them a lot in terms of action and all that. Just like as you stated, I feel like they were there to attract people to watch the movie, plain and simple.
And to even emphasize on that point, like the minute Thor joined the battle, he could single-handedly beat those aliens alone. So you even wonder, Because the guy was up in a mountain meditating. So you even wonder, what's the point of us going with you?
That is where I started laughing because it felt really awkward watching all like the Guardians just standing around and watching Thor do his thing. Like that was so awkward watching it on screen that I actually started laughing. But as you've said, Marvel should change the name from like the acronyms of MCU to Marvel Cameo Universe because everything is a cameo that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, right now it's all about, oh, it's a cameo, it's a cameo, it's a cameo. He has to be here, he has to be here, he has to be here. And in case maybe guys are wondering what scene I'm talking about. And of course, I think I should have warned guys for spoilers. So if you haven't watched this movie, bro, I'm going to spoil the living crap out of this movie for you. But it's this particular scene. I don't want to play it where he like, he was meditating on a mountain. And then they were like, hey, come and help. And the guy entered in the scene and he's like demolishing all the bloody ships alone. So you even wonder what was, what's the point of the Guardians of the Galaxy being here? Like, this is not what Thor does, right? You would think because Thor is a god and he has something like an axe that can, summon a Bifrost bridge, he will be off doing some more godly activities, right? Like, why am I wasting time saving? Like, they are my friends. I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
But then speaking of that scene, that part where Thor is flying in the sky with the hammer, I think they overused that particular cinematic. Because how many times did I see that? Almost every single time Thor was fighting. Thor fighting alone, Thor fighting with Lady Thor, and Thor fighting with Love. That particular scene has been overused at this point.
Oh, you mean him jumping in there like it's like he's winding up for a big power? Oh, the one he entered with in Infinity War. When he was like, bring me Thanos. I bet I've seen. But that's... Wait, when he doesn't have other moves he can pull.
That's been just overused by this point.
But then the Guardians in this movie, totally pointless. Totally effing pointless. Like, at least maybe Thor should have been in this other realm of gods. At least maybe he was there having orgies. Because, I mean, you've just beat Thanos, you brought all people, like all the people back. I would feel like that would have been a better place to start from. Like, hey, where is Thor, man? Gods are being killed. We need to actually find Thor. And then maybe Valkyrie should have been like, oh, I know where he might be. Maybe he's on that fucking, place where gods go and have fun. At least that way it would have been like, oh, so there's a place that the gods hang out. Damn, okay. And I mean, it will make sense. Like, he's hanging out there. Like, maybe the Guardians, or if you are showing the Guardians, maybe show them, like, dropping him off there. Like, hey, bye, man.
My gripe with... Okay, I haven't watched Love and Thunder. But I have a gripe with Marvel movies in general, and it's not just Marvel movies, it's entire Disney, because those people don't know anything they're doing right now. They do not know anything. As in the whole company is rubbish. Entire company.
Do you feel like that's...
It's not just Marvel. It's not just Marvel. It's not just Thor, Love and Thunder. No, it's the entire Disney. Anything that Disney touches right now, they need to sort themselves out.
I feel like
why do you
Disney's
say
problem...
that they don't know what they're doing? Why do you say that?
Think about it. Star Wars, you know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, Star Wars sucks, man. Now even so, there's a trailer for Little Mermaid. I'm like, what the fuck? Whether they've cast a black person.
Let's not even go into Little Mermaid, Kwanzaa. There's just so much that they're doing so wrong right now. They don't know what direction they want to pull. But
Lion King. Anyway. Who the fuck asked for a live action Lion King? The animated one was beautiful because it was... I think, to maybe add on to what Higgs is saying, I think the problem that Disney has right now is they're on top. Disney is sort of like Microsoft. Microsoft have so much money, whatever they touch, they ruin. Because they have so much money, they don't even know what to do with it. Right? So I feel like Disney right now is at that point where they've conquered and they've cornered the industry. And they own so much IP, which is something that needs to be addressed. I don't know why like companies are being led to own so much IP, like Amazon, like Jeff Bezos owns you. What? Like, dude, if you're a retailer, you should remain in retail. I don't see why you're in films all of a sudden. No. So I feel like it's just a case of Disney having so much money and they actually genuinely do not know what to do with it. And then also the pressure from Netflix. Netflix is pushing out content and they're trying to also fill up their Disney Plus subscription where they're like, oh yeah, this is Disney Plus. Hey, look, we have this movie. We have Little Mermaid. We have Lion King. Oh, you want the Avengers?
Let me actually add on this. Like, sorry, because I have to be real quick. The thing is, for me, I feel like there's a lot of, I know it's being used, like a lot of woke stuff. And
that's also another shit, man.
Yeah, because I know the biggest stuff I've seen, like a lot of critics come, like Love and Thunder was literally like, I don't know, it was a lot of like objecting Thor, especially that naked scene. That scene did need to exist apparently. I haven't watched it.
But then what the fuck was the point of that scene? You flicked too hard and then all the chicks are falling there. I'm like, dude, we already know Thor is a buff guy. And actually, technically speaking, Thor in the Norse mythology is a chubby guy. Like the Thor in God of War is the most accurate version of Thor. So this one in the MCU is like a romanticized version of Thor. So okay, W. Higgs, continue with your point.
Yeah. So the two things that I think they're trying to achieve with with the general phase 4. Because first of all, eliminate. Let me just say it as it is. Literally all the male characters have been replaced.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's our. The other thing is like they're trying. Okay, apart from pushing the agendas, equality. The message, the equality message, and everything. I feel like they were trying to pander more for that. Like think about it. At the whole phase 4. The villain was who? Wanda Nani? Was it just Wanda? Wanda was the biggest threat.
Wanda villain, Wanda Nani? Wanda Maximoff.
Yeah.
Wanda for the phase 4 was the biggest villain, I believe.
No, I think Kang right now. It's supposed to be Kang, but so far, with all these movies that have come out, other than Loki, there's nothing else showing that Kang is the big bad. Like in you see, like in the second Thor, they dealt with that fucking whatever, the ether. So at least now they started mentioning in Infinity Stones, right? Even in Captain America, the first Avenger, they freaking had an Infinity Stone, right? But in this phase 4, it's like they're confused. Like if Kang is the big bad and Loki messed up the multiverse or the timeline, why aren't they actually showing the consequences? Or maybe got the Necro Sword because there's a timeline break or something happened that wasn't supposed to happen. And then maybe when Kang shows up and Loki, and now maybe they can say, oh, it's because of this. And people can be like, oh, but that's true, man, that happened. So this is the person causing all of this to the universe, right? So maybe...
I don't know, like... sorry, anyway, I've gone on a tangent, especially of Thor, but I just feel like Thor is not even, it's not that, like, from what I know right now, is that it's not even the biggest problem. Like, the biggest problem is the general lack of direction within the MCU, within Disney. As in, I just feel like it's just going from top to bottom. So this is just like a product of their confusion on what to do. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's all I'd say.
I mean... I've been going back to the movie, but to be fair though, I'll say that Jane Foster, at least, even though she's a female version of Thor, at least she wasn't like those woke females, like, I'm a girl, I can do it better than though I think there's a bit of that where Jane Foster is really good at using the hammer, and I mean, this is something I'm sure took Thor thousands of years to master. So maybe that, because I don't know, there was a video I was watching, in fact it was by a chick, and the chick was saying, this one as to why she even hates modern like female protagonists, Like one thing is how unrealistic they are. Like you see like a small chick like Jane Foster, Jane Foster or whatever. What's her real life name? I've forgotten her name. But you see like a small chick like that picking up a dude. Like in a good example is like James Bond, where Amade Amasa or whatever her name is, the Cuban chick, is fighting with a guy, and this bitch is like single-handedly anashika umse mkono and I'm throw over. I'm like, that does not even make any physical, like there's no logical explanation to that kind of strength. Like the guy is the chick is small, clearly she does not have enough strength to lift a man that size. So and that chick was actually saying those are the kinds of the things that she finds annoying. You find like she even pointed out She-Hulk, where She-Hulk seems to be so good at becoming the Hulk, something that took Bruce Banner so long to control and manage. Like, there he was flipping out all the time. Like, he even couldn't turn back to being a human being, like, without the help of Nat, right? So you find, like, She-Hulk is there. Oh, I can do it myself. Oh, I can turn into the Hulk every now and then. Like, I can just switch up and become the Hulk every time I want, right? So I guess there is that. And I guess that's why maybe more, like, the modern female protagonists are hated. Maybe that's just one thing I wanted to see. But in terms of like being a woman, being someone who likes behaving like an actual woman who exists, I felt like she wasn't that bad off. I mean, she was still in love. She still had cancer. She wasn't like egotistical all the time. Like, hey, I don't like you, Thor, anymore. I'm independent. No, she wasn't like that. She was like, yeah, I still like you, man. So I don't know what you guys thought of female Thor. What did you guys think of female Thor? Okay, Natalie Portman's though.
You had to ask me that to think about it. So I guess I didn't think much of her.
But see, that's the main, like that's the biggest thing in the movie. Like, we have a female Thor.
She died and I couldn't care less. But I'm sure she died so that her contract would be written off or something.
No, because they ended, but they had but then Marvel and females have problems. Even Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson has, but I hear by the time
I can never tell.
Mm-hmm. By the time Black Widow,
who Black Widow likes in the movie.
No, like I'm saying, by the time Black Widow was out, like Scarlett Johansson had gotten with into a feud with Marvel. So, and it seems Marvel have that kind of a problem. Or, I mean, Disney specifically. So, that's the same case. I think that was the same thing that had happened to Natalie Portman. That's why she never came back for Thor Ragnarok. Mm-hmm.
For me, personally, I like the character of female Thor. But, like we said in the beginning, I think, like, if they got rid of, like, the whole Guardians of the Galaxy thing and took a bit of time to actually familiarize and give her a proper introduction, like story. Okay, not introduction, like her transition to female Thor, instead of like that one scene of she looks at the hammer, then cuts away, then the next thing is like, you're gonna like her,
Apparently, but it's a deleted scene. You can find a clip. There's a deleted scene showing her acquiring the power. Apparently, it was deleted.
Yeah, but if they spent more time on that, then it would have made more sense. And, we'd have been more in touch with that character as female Thor, not just as Jane Foster, Because then you're like, Jane Foster, then cancer, then female Thor. Then you're like, wait, what? The transition was too fast.
Wait, can we talk about those stupid goats in the movie? Oh my God, I don't know about you, but they were so annoying. Okay, they're in the comics, but I felt like they should have shut up or something. Plus, I don't know. Oh, the goats in the comics were used by Thor when he had lost, when he was not worthy anymore of lifting Mjolnir. So he needed a way to traverse the universe. So he had access to those magical goats. In the comics, they are actually magical goats. It's not like in the movie where they made them like an actual joke where like,
oh, really?
Take this. Yeah, in the comics, they're actual magical goats like that help him traverse when he was not worthy. Oh no. So
That's interesting.
Yeah, they changed a lot, man.
They made a joke though. Which was
But the movie is a fucking joke. I think another thing that
Yeah.
really pissed me off was, do you remember where Sith was dying? And they're like, oh, I have to get into Valhalla. I'm like, what the fuck? You're dying. Why do you have time
Yeah,
to
but
joke
they-
around?
Marvel, I think since what was it called? The Ultron. Since Ultron, I've hated Marvel villains because they sacrifice a lot for comedic value. Because they sacrifice too much just to have a comedic scene, and that
Yeah.
loses a lot. Like even for the goats, yeah, in the comics for sure that there's something of significance, but now in the movie you're just like screaming goats. It's like okay. You
And
know?
they're loud as
So a lot-
F, like, man, all the
Yeah.
fucking time. I'm like, what? Fuck, man, shut these goats up. Because I can imagine someone who was in the cinema being blasted with those goat sounds. I'm sure it could have been so.
Is the humor anyway? That level of humor in Thor: Love and Thunder, is it present in all other recent MCUs? Because I feel like Love and Thunder was like, wow, it was
It's Taika.
humor.
It's Taika Waititi. The motherfucker
it's
cannot
Taika.
take himself. I mean, have you seen him in this movie by Sony? This movie with Ryan Reynolds where he was the villain. This movie of video game. I don't know. Forgotten its name.
No, I haven't.
Something guy. It was something guy. Free Guy. Yes. In Free Guy, like, dude, this guy, he's a villain, but the way he's trying to be funny about it, it just makes you look like at him like, what the fuck are you? Like, you're not even a threat. Like, I can't even take this guy seriously. Right? So, and I think that's a problem of Taika Waititi. I think the guy cannot be serious. On maybe, I think the praises he got from Thor Ragnarok, I think got to his head. Where he was like, oh, I can do anything I want with Thor.
Why do you think Ragnarok was better than this one?
I feel like Ragnarok had stakes. We've learned of a sister, right? And Odin died. Plus, it was like Thor discovering himself because he needed, like he discovered he doesn't need the hammer to summon lightning. So remember that cool ass scene where he's like, when there's like a rock song playing and he's like on the bridge blasting everyone with lightning, right? So I felt like that movie wasn't funny all through. Like it was serious. Nani, like some people died. Even Kwanzaa, when Korg was explaining how Thor's friends died, it was like nothing. At this guy, like, and then you're being shown these scenes. Let me pull up that scenes. That scene.
Isn't Kog Taika himself?
It's him, the fucker, man.
It is.
Kwanzaa, he's not really that. I don't even think in the comics. I don't even think he's anyone. That Corgi guy. I don't feel like
Why
he's.
did he give himself such a big role in this one?
So of course, he's going to be paid extra for directing and, you know. I'm looking for that key scene where that Cog guy was explaining, oh, Thor's friends dying. I'm like, wow, that is so stupid. Like even Loki dying, that is a sad thing. Why would you, like, you know, why would you just rush through that, man? Loki dying was not something funny, you know. It was something that actually made Thor, you know, like actually, when like the motivation to build the hammer he has right now. It came from like seeing his brother dying at the hands of Thanos. So he was like, hey, I better make something that can behead a god's head, right? So I don't know. I just feel like, but the funniness is stupid. It's so stupid. It is so fucking stupid. Like, it takes away from the seriousness of some of these issues. Like, gods are being butchered. And in the comics, let me tell you, in the comics, so let me try and explain Go in the comics. So what happened when Go, like the origin story of Go in the movie is kind of accurate, but what happened in the comics is Go found two gods dead. Like they died in a stalemate. One god had the necro sword and the other one was just some golden god, I don't know, right? So Go took the necro sword. So upon realizing that these gods, he killed his own gods, like the ones his people were worshipping, and then he chose to go for the others. But what he did, instead of actually, I don't know, going to eternity, he went to like a person who can forge a god bomb. Like this bomb, when the bomb goes off, it can actually kill all gods, right? But you see, God was so powerful that it needed a younger version of Thor, a present version of him, and a future version of where Thor is old to actually beat Gore. Like, it took 3 Thors from 3 different timelines to actually beat him. That's how insane he was. And again, the sword they are showing in the movie is not his accurate sword. In fact, the powers that Hela had is what Gore has in the comics. Like, he can summon swords. That is the power of Gore, right? So because I saw that and I was like, now if they choose to introduce Gore, how are they going to explain the Necro Sword? Because if you go deeper in the comics, the Necro Sword is a symbiote or something. The symbiote from Venom. It's like from that race or something. So that is what happened in the comics. So to come in the movie and seeing that this guy is like, oh yeah, I have to go to eternity, I was kind of disappointed because they did not show the severity of this guy. Like, we only saw gods, we only saw the first scene, which was like kind of luck. The sword pulled itself to his arm and he stabbed that god. But imagine how seriously we would have taken him if we actually saw him beating someone like Zeus. Like, he goes to that Olympia place and kills a couple of gods, and they actually see, and people actually see that, hey, this guy is mad. This guy can actually go toe to toe with gods. Like, that would have made it more serious. So I don't know what about you guys. I don't know what you guys thought of Go, but me, I just felt like and I think we were talking with you, Slutty. I think you said like they picked such a good actor only to give him like the most, like, it wasn't a role where, you know, it can really like, and maybe he did, right? Apparently there's even a deleted scene of him, I don't know, crying or doing some gory stuff that was cut out from the movie. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like if you employ someone like Christian Bale, so you of course expect him to bring a level of performance. Like, why make him perform and then like edit it out of the film?
You're correct. I think the person I had that particular section that you mentioned that they got such a big name to do such a mediocre role, or they wrote a mediocre role for Christian Bale.
They wrote a mediocre role.
He also went ahead and mentioned that all the other cast members do not have to sit through 4 hours of makeup. So you can imagine, you brought on Christian Bale, he's Batman, the American Psycho, he's all that. You're going to pay him a lot.
Your audio is breaking up, Kiasi. Abu karibia mic.
No, the mic is as close as it gets in a comfortable way. So the guy was mentioning that that is Go. Of course, it's a spectacular. But
you're cutting out, Slutty. Walai. You're cutting out. I don't know what's up. Like cha. Anyway, as he sorts his technical issues. What
about now?
Yeah,
I think my mic is dying or something. Oh, sorry. The guy was saying that Christian Bale is too big of a name for such a mediocre written role in this particular movie. Anyway, he mentions that Christian Bale has to sit through 4 hours of makeup and read about 3 lines or say 3, stupid things. That doesn't make sense. You get, like, he's spending more time behind the set, getting ready, and when he comes on set, he's been given such little material, such little screen time, and eventually the payoff is not there. It's not what we are looking for. He's such a big talent. They should have, tried to spread him very, very well. He could have formed part of the actual emotional attachment people would have had to that movie since he lost his daughter. But what ends up happening, we are just shown a bunch of naked guys globe-trotting all over the universe and all that stuff. So his talent really never comes to life because he's underused generally. Yeah, that is actually the word. They underused him. And maybe the movie could have turned out different. And I think you also mentioned there were cut scenes of him. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, there was cut scenes of him actually at he performing. I don't know, there was a scream where he was screaming. I think it was a scene of him acquiring the power of that Necro Sword. So it was, he made like such a weird scream that, they were like, oh, we have to cut this out. Right?
Yeah, I think Marvel is afraid of emotions or actual true feelings, because every single time that it leads to something emotional, they immediately cut to something comedic or something. They cut to something less, heavy. Because watching Love and Thunder, there are moments where I'm about to get emotional with the scene, but then immediately it's just taken away, you know. Like when you lose your daughter and you're being, you know, you're grieving and you get a sword that can kill gods and everything like that. You expect something more, you know, something that hits you more in the, like, in your feelings than just, you know, just I can't even explain what the movie was going for, because then again, as you said, Christian Bale is such an amazing actor, especially when it comes to darker scenes, and he can portray that really well. But like even in the Shadow Realm with the kids, which is another part where I was just like, oh my goodness, they had the opportunity to really get something darker, not like DC dark, but they had the opportunity to go with something dark. But every single moment that it approaches that is it a pinnacle of emotion, it's just ripped.
They're like,
from
oh,
it.
this is too, this is not going to be PG-13. Oh, let's cut it out. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
F, man? What the F? Do you think everyone who watches these movies are children? Right? I think that's the problem with Disney. And this is why I'm saying, right, there's so much acquiring of IP that it's absurd in the US. I don't know where the antitrust laws are. But Disney is a family-friendly company. So even them buying Fox and franchises that deal with scary, and that is why I'm afraid of what they might do with Daredevil, man.
Let me leave out. Have a good session. Have a good.
Okay, thank you Pete, for joining.
You know, and this is why, like, I'm afraid of what these motherfuckers might do to Daredevil, because Daredevil was actually serious. That's not like, and that is what we loved Daredevil for, right? Most people are actually even scared, and I've had that sentiment from a lot of people. Like, people are actually scared of what they might do with Daredevil. They might fuck up the character, right? So I feel like they have that need of, oh, we have to make everything family friendly. Kwanzaa, and I remember, do you know, by the way, in Doctor Strange, the first director who was supposed to direct it, because Sam Raimi came in. You know, Sam Raimi was not the one who directed the first one, but the first director, I remember he walked on stage and said, like, Doctor Strange is going to be the first horror, like MCU horror film. And then Kevin Feige was quick to correct, like, take the mic and correct him and be like, hey, no, it's going to be a horror film, but it's going to be PG-13. And I'm like, ah. And that's when I knew maybe Doctor Strange might be in trouble, right? And of course, you know, the movie came out and you saw what shit was there, right? So another thing that I feel like pissed me off about the movie is, again, as the title of the show today says, Thor, Love and Hammers. This guy, it's like he's in a love triangle between his current hammer and his old hammer. I'm like, Quenny, how attached are you to that hammer? Like, all the time you're like, oh, Millennial. To a point they're even showing scenes where he's trying to get it, you know. I don't know if he's trying to see if he's worthy. And then his other hammer, his other hammer, it's like it's jealous, it's floating back. Or sometimes it doesn't want to be used. Or sometimes he's talking to it. I'm like, see, a hammer is a tool. Why am I talking to my hammer? Imagine, now the old hammer you are using to hammer nails starts getting jealous because you bought a new one, a new one that is more efficient than the current one. Like, how absurd does that sound, right? Like, at the end of the day, this is a fucking tool. It's not the point of the film. Like, yeah, Mjolnir is something that you've been with for a long time, but bro, why, man? Some of the scenes I was like, why are we?
To sell much.
Huh?
They've got to sell much, yo, and that's the only way they will pander you. Because
every version, toys of those things. Huh?
Yeah. Every version of that hammer has a toy, so they have to make it prominent in the scene so that you want that particular hammer. Because there's the version without that. I'll call it. You remember the Witcher's 3 symbol? When he's so there's a version without that symbol, there's a version with that symbol, and there's a version that has the cracks on it. And of course, these are things they'll want to put prominent in the scenes so that we buy the toys. So yeah, they have to pander to us, you know.
Man, Hammers, man. Hammers. Dude, I remember finishing watching the movie and I was like, is this movie only about these fucking two hammers? Like Mjolnir and the other one, Stormbreaker. Like, is the whole movie about this thing? Like, can't they just stop, man? Can't they really stop? You know, and actually be serious for once? Because me, I was getting bored when I was seeing them. When I was seeing those scenes of that hammer. Mazia was getting so bored.
What is the consequence of making a movie the wrong way?
See, people see them. People now lose faith. Okay. I mean, how can you make 2 L's in a row? You make Doctor Strange, it sucks.
Can you? By the Doctor Strange was. Oh my God.
And then you make now Thor, it sucks now. It's an L. At this point, the only movie I have faith for is Black Panther. Hopefully they don't fuck it up as well. Because if they fuck that one up, it's over. To be honest, MCU is over, man. They fucked up She-Hulk. They fucked up Siju what? Hey, bro. Sasa, see, it's over, Sasa. Like, the MCU is dead. I mean, why would I even want to be paying for Disney Plus? I don't even get why someone would pay for Disney Plus in the first place right now. Because they have trash. To watch Family Guy. Dude. That's why they bought Fox, man. That's why they bought Fox.
Yeah, everything. Family Guy, American Dad. I mean, that's the only reason I've thought of paying for it.
Disney
Fox
Plus.
shows mainly, not really. Yeah, not really Disney property.
The Disney side.
Before the Fox merger. Yeah, also The Simpsons. I'm very much interested in that. So, I don't understand how that merger was allowed to go through. But it's America. In America, stuff happens, man. Have you heard, maybe this is on a different topic, that Microsoft is having a hard time convincing the UK that they should buy Activision? So the deal might actually flop if that doesn't work out.
I don't know. If they flop the deal, then it should be a warning call for every other publisher. I don't think you can just be bought out.
Yeah, it was actually the UK which stopped the ARM and Nvidia merger.
Yeah, it's good. That is good because that is something we'll talk about another day. But something major happened in the tech world. I feel like that should be a topic for another day. But going back to these things, I think another thing that maybe also, I think you said this with Spider-Man, it's like these heroes never learn. They're always constantly repeating the same old mistakes. And it's even something that was brought up in that, if you go to that forum and references Thor, Love and Hammers, that guy specifically says that, like, why are these heroes destined to repeat the same mistakes over and over again? Like, for fuck's sake, grow up and get better and bigger problems. Right?
That's actually true. That is actually true.
Dude. It's
Spider-Man though, Spider-Man hurts in a different way.
Yeah. But at least Spider-Man was not bad. Hey, these others are just bad. Is there anything else in the film I feel that was annoying me to hell?
The children of Asgard.
Oh, the children of Asgard. But then
the fighting scene.
The cheesy fighting scene with the rock scene.
Yeah, but that children's fighting scene was just something else. Because this was shadow monsters, like that they struggled to fight with in the first place. But then all of a sudden, freaking kids can just beat them up without any experience.
See, they had the power of those as. See, Thor gave them a portion of his power.
Yeah, but does that make them equally as powerful to fight monsters that Thor had,
I feel, what I feel? I feel like that hammer, Thor's hammer, should not have been used as a plot device. That's just lazy writing. It's like, we are saving this chick because she's the only one who can save us. Like, bro, fucking hell, we've had that a million times. And if... let me tell you something. Eternity is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. He's like above there with the Living Tribunal and the one above all. Like he's top 5 apple. So you even wonder, at the first person that reaches eternity, he's going to be granted his wish. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Unataka kuniambia in all the existence of the MCU that there is no God, Odin himself, another one, no other person knows, or no other person has ever tried reaching eternity. And you only need Thor's hammer, which was conveniently, this is what I'm saying. Like, you need Thor's hammer that can summon a Bifrost Bridge. I'm like, bro, Bifrost Bridge is magic, right? It's only Asgardians who can do it.
And also, did the other gods not know this? Because none of them addressed it.
Bruh.
Even Zeus himself did not address it. He was like, "No, you're safe here." But he said he's not gonna reach eternity because he doesn't have the key. But he never mentioned what the key is.
But
if it was
that's
actually,
a good point. That's really a good point. He never mentioned the key to open that fucking bro. And it was actually.
Yeah, because if it was Thor's hammer, then I think they would have put in more effort to actually keep him there. Not just, no, you're safe here and everything like that. That did not make sense.
Because at going to eternity, Thanos should have done that then, bro. And the annoying part is eternity in the comics does not involve himself or itself with the affairs of the lesser beings. It does not. It rarely will intervene, Meshika, because it's so powerful. It does not. It really does not. So you're like, how does that? You come here, you start wishing. What the fuck do you mean? Right? How? And like, how? Why would you even make the guy reachable? If he's so powerful, why do you make him reachable? He should not be reachable. Like, be like, hey, go can kill us by one, either going to eternity and wishing, or maybe using the Infinity Stones, but they were destroyed, or another way. And then he ends up choosing the third way. Because at least now you've shown eternity, and we actually know he's powerful and he's actually unreachable, right? Like, it takes really a lot to reach him. So make it not an option. Because I felt like they made it so easy. And then they are like there with Jane. They're just letting the guy walk into the fucking portal and go reach eternity. Like, they're let me play even that scene. I have it here. I'm playing. Let me see what happened here. Like, Jane has destroyed the hammer. Let me see. Jane has destroyed the hammer. Thor is like, oh, Jane, you're dying. I'm like, but you have bigger problems in front of you. There's a fucker going towards eternity right now. So you first restrain this guy. He does not have the necro sword, so he's not powerful. I'm like, some of these things that happen in the movie are so convenient. Like, god damn it, yeah. And then now let's give Thor a hero moment where he's going to try and talk some sense into this fucking guy. Right? And if so, why kill all the gods? Like, why kill all the gods? If this guy knew that eternity exists, see, he would have thought of bringing, because his bitterness was towards his daughter dying. And if eternity can do everything you wish for, right? Why just not go to eternity and actually wish for your daughter back? Like, what's the point of actually going like, please kill all the fucking gods? Dude, if you lose someone you love and you have a chance to bring them back, are you going to be like, let me go and wish for all those people that behave, all those people that were involved in killing my loved one, let them die? Are you going to be like that, or are you going to go and actually wish for the person you love to come back?
They had to bring back the choose love quote so that Thor can look like he had a character development from what Mr. Guardian guy.
Mr. Peter Quill.
Mr. Quill told him at the beginning of the movie.
That is perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
That's a bullshit, man.
That movie doesn't make sense.
Say me akwambia, man, they stopped these fucking jokes.
Also, I feel like Thor was on a good trajectory. Coming off Infinity War. Is it Infinity War? The one he lost?
Endgame. Coming off, Infinity War.
Coming off Infinity War, he's depressed, starts playing video games. And then, all of a sudden, of course, they win the Endgame. Yeah. And then he gets fit, and then it's like he goes back to baby Thor. being baby
Again.
Thor, like he's he's like he has learned nothing, man. It's not even remotely serious. I think that's how they should have done this, like a serious ass movie. Maybe he's getting different challenges. Maybe he's required to make other sort of tough decisions. They don't strip him nude. They also surround him with like other characters which demand seriousness. Maybe Captain America makes a show. I don't know, a different version.
Or maybe
anyway, characters who don't demand jokes all the time.
And maybe to introduce
at least-
Gore, maybe Thor is like, I'm on a quest to discover myself. He goes and maybe tries to talk to his old god friends, and then he realizes some of them have died, and he's like, what?
Something like
Because
that,
even in the
man.
comics with Gore, he found some gods hanging, and he was like, what's happening? Like, why are the gods of this place not responding? Who's responsible for this? Right? So
Yeah.
I felt like that would have been a better introduction, and then now they can cut to Gore and how he became the God Butcher. You know?
Yeah, something
Like show us that
Dude.
Thor has matured as a character. You know, he's trying to do the good things.
Missed opportunity right there. Like a missed opportunity. And now what are we going to remember this movie for? Nothing, man. I mean,
It
we've even
was
forgotten. I had to
excessively-
rewatch it.
You had to
Rewatch it for this. I didn't remember much of it. It wasn't like it was something pleasant. I had to force
No,
it.
and Nini, overuse of CG, mazi. Bruh.
Can
Let
I
me
ask,
just tell you,
did you
they
notice-
since. Uh-huh. Did I
I don't
notice?
know what it is with the Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi loves colorful places, colorful clothes, a lot of flowers, a lot of pomp and flair. I don't know. Is it a thing with him? The movie was so
Probably.
colorful. I don't know. There was like pizzazz everywhere. Is that? Oh no, that is. So
That
it means
throws
like the
you
movie
off.
can't be taken. Yeah. No, it makes the movie.
Oh,
it
you
can't be
mean
taken
I
seriously,
know what you
man.
mean. It was
Yeah.
it was a high contrast film. Like the lighting was even most of the time.
Yeah, you know the
It's
words,
not
you
like
know
the
the words.
cinematography was dark, where you feel like there's
Yeah, it
actually
wasn't. It wasn't.
darkness. Okay, yeah, maybe that's the thing with him. But me, the one thing I hate about Marvel is constant like CGI, man. Some of this background I can just tell, Maze, this is a green screen.
Oh, it's CG.
You ain't,
It's CG.
yeah, you ain't fooling no one here. This is a fucking green screen. In fact, one of the actors, I remember in a panel, one of the actors, like they were there with Taika Waititi and another, and I think Chris Hemsworth. And I remember someone asked them like to point out CG in a scene, and I remember this chick who plays Valkyrie was able to point. This is CG. This does not look convincing, right? And the director was like, oh, no cringing, like, oh fuck, I messed up, you know. Like you could tell, oh, holy shit, I did not do a good job with his reaction, right?
Yeah.
So, bro, they need to stop overusing CG. It's so fucking annoying by them. Kwanza Spider-Man, oh my god, Spider-Man had all the CG on this other. Like, and literally some scenes were so the CG, the green screen was so distracting for me. The reason being, it distracts me because I studied VFX, so I know how a VFX shot looks like. To date, let me tell you, a good example of a film that uses CG well is Pirates of the Caribbean, the one with Davy Jones. Holy crap! If you go rewatch that movie, still looks good. You are until you're left wondering, like, technology has advanced. Why are we regressing? Why are we regressing? A good example is Pacific Rim. The first one was fantastic. Oh my god, the CG was mind blowing for me. The second one, I just watched the trailer. I was like, nah, I'm not even wasting a second of my time watching this shit. No? So even wonder, like, if the technology is getting so good, why are you wasting time with, like, CG? Like, so bad CG. And it's not like you don't have the money to build actual sets. You know, integrate it. Dude, like, the CG is so bad. Even Stranger Things has more convincing CG. Like, the show from Netflix. Like, Stranger Things has, like, oh my god, dude. And I remember I was watching a specific scene. Maybe this is a spoiler. There's a specific scene where they're inside that killer. The killer in the main villain in season 4. Where they're like in his mind. Things are floating everywhere. There's blood on the floor. And I remember watching behind the scenes. Kumbe, they had built the set. They had muddied the floor with, like, with red water, which to make it look like blood. And of course, now the CG was just making the bodies more freaky, making the environment more freaky. And I was like, this is why this scene looks so good, because it's a mixture of practicality and actually CG.
And CG,
yeah. Now I feel like even a good example is like Mad Max. If you tell someone Mad Max had VFX, they won't believe you. But it did have
they
a
won't
lot of
believe
VFX.
it.
Yeah, and
you're right.
Yeah.
You're actually right.
And it does have a lot of VFX. It's only that these guys actually went there and built these vehicles, shot these things on location.
On location, man.
Yeah.
You're right.
But I think that's a Disney weakness, because I think they discovered CGI and got too excited. Because I even remember like the remakes of Star Wars when they redid from using practical puppets to just CGI. It just looked so bad.
I remember.
It aged even worse than the practical effects one with the weird Yoda puppet, you know. But CGI should be used to enhance like practical effects, just to cover like makeup. You should use it like makeup. Use practical effects, then use it to just patch up those little parts where where the seams are breaking or something. But using CGI in its entirety, even when the movie ages a couple of years from now, we are going to notice how bad it looks.
Oh yeah,
we already
right.
notice. Yeah, we already notice how bad it looks now, because as Bloody said, having done like animation, digital media, you kind of have a knack of noticing even the smallest mistakes.
It is so distracting. Like, you can't force your mind to turn it off. You're constantly seeing VFX everywhere. But now if it's done so good, you don't even care. Like, I remember watching Pacific Rim and I was like, holy shit. I mean, I don't remember ever thinking about the VFX. I expect, apart from one scene where this Jaeger was using containers, I was like, how the fuck did they do that physics? And it was like, for me, it was like I was in disbelief. This physics looks so realistic. Like, holy crap, I cannot believe this is CGI. So, and to even add on to that point, what you've said, like makeup. In Breaking Bad, trust me, Breaking Bad has VFX. And you won't believe it has VFX. But you see the scene where Nani was dying, Gustavo. So, it was makeup, but to make like the burnt face more realistic, they had to go into a computer, make the holes a little bit deeper, right? Like in that case, you're adding on to the practical effect to make it more realistic. Even in Stranger Things, they did the same things. The bodies that were hanging, because even the actress said the bodies that were hanging did not look that scary. But when she watched the end product, she was like, holy crap, these VFX guys have made it actually scary. Right? And even I remember there was a scene I was like, Aya. I thought maybe this was CGI. And then I watched it, I'm like, Aya. It's actually not. It's wires on the wall pulling these actors into the wall, because I was like, how are they actually doing this, man? So that's just something that's something Disney needs to address by that constant overuse of CGI is just, it's just distracting. And I remember it really distracted me on Spider-Man. Because literally there were scenes I was like, there's no way, these guys are not on the bridge. That lighting does not match her hair, right? Like the scene where Mary Jane and Spider-Man are on top of the Nini, where the Kachopa is seeing them. I was like, there is no effing way. This looks like a blue screen to me. Kabisa, for me, like as a VFX artist, this looks like a Nini blue screen, right? So, overuse of CGI. Overall, I feel like the movie was colorful. Yes, I don't mind the color. But again, I think as you've said, Slati, I feel like there should be more diversity in terms of letting directors actually light the scene the way they want. You see, like the way Wonder Woman looks different from like Zack Snyder's Superman. Like if you were to put Wonder Woman and Zack Snyder's Superman, you would actually say these films do not exist in the same universe. Like Zack Snyder is a high contrast guy. I feel like also Marvel movies will benefit from something like that. Like where it's dark. And the thing is, Slati, darkness helps to blend CG. That is why Dune looked so good, because most of the CG was not in broad daylight. Like those ships arriving, you are not seeing them clearly, and that makes it more realistic. And you see, you have to realize in life, even when you're looking in real life, the air is not always clear. The air is always foggy. It always has some haze. So everything is never, and that's why you see people when you take a photo, you see people enhancing saturation, because in reality saturation haikuwagi that oversaturated, and that's why when you go to a place where there's a lot of paintings and stuff, it actually feels surreal. It doesn't feel like it feels ultra realistic. Like it's realistic but it feels trippy in your head because you're not used to that kind of vibrance. No. So
Yeah.
maybe I was just adding to that point. Maybe I can point out, maybe because I see the time has ended, we're coming to the end of the show. Maybe I can point out but this is Bas, this goddess here. This is Bas, the god that Wakandans worship. So glad to see she made a cameo hapo, but she's the goddess, the panther goddess of the Wakandans. And there's a couple of, I don't think there was another cameo from a god. Oh, there was another cameo of two celestials when they were coming out with the goat. What the fuck is that scene? There was two celestials. Yes. Here. Yes. So these two beings you're seeing here, celestials. I don't know. One looks like Eson the Searcher, but it's not him. Where is it? I'm looking for those. I need them to be posed properly in the frame. And of course, I've muted sound because that is what gets you DMCA takedowns. But these are two celestials. I'm sure you've seen celestials in the Eternals and in Guardians of the Galaxy, the one that was wiping out planets on that casino where Peter was being explained what that power stone does. But overall, the movie was too funny for me. By the way,
No, speaking of the Celestials and Eternals, nobody ever addressed the Celestial that was being born from the Earth. Like, is it just still around?
It's like, every Avenger can see it.
Slutty, I was telling you this. I told you that fucking head is like the size of an island. You're telling me Stark drone was like, hey, there's some cosmic activity happening at the North Pole. We need to get there ASAP.
So many plot holes, man.
But that's what I'm telling you. Like, they need to ground these movies.
To think of it, they're not. And the more they get out of hand, the worse it will be. There will be no quality control as there is now, and then the products will just turn out shit, and we won't get any good movies. Unfortunately.
And I mean, movies are not one of those things where you want to be churning them out all the time. I feel like movies are an experience, right?
Yeah.
And to an extent, most things, like entertainment is not, I wouldn't classify entertainment as consumers, like a consumer product. It's not like food, where you can eat food, like your body actually needs food. You can't get tired of eating, right? You actually need to eat. Right? But movies are not something you need for your survival. In fact, I'm watching a scene up on Thor. I'm seeing him giving... I remember that scene where he was giving the hammer a beer. What the fuck was that all about? Why are you giving your hammer a beer? You're telling me your hammer will absorb the beer hammer. So, but going back to that point, I feel like movies should be one of the things where movies, video games, all of this, music... It's one of those things where people need to realize you don't need to keep churning out shit. You need to actually take time, because these are things being made out of love. Artists, if you're an artist in any form of way, you know that the main drive of an artist is making what you love, actually sitting down and crafting this thing. And being so mesmerized by the end product that you actually even feel emotional after doing all of that. I feel like movies should be like that. Music should be like that. Art should be like that. But when we make art and movies and music like a commercial product where it's, we have to churn out more and more, this is the garbage we end up getting. Where the focus shifts from making an actually good movie, and like the focus shifts to actually let's make more money, instead of actually making a good movie. Yeah, and we've seen this. Money. It's sad. It's sad that this is happening to movies. This is happening also to video games. But I mean, there's always standouts. Elden Ring is a very good example of making something with love, where the players feel this is something I can spend a whole afternoon doing and playing. So, I hope that attitude can come back to the entertainment industry, and we can understand that artists are human beings. We can't keep churning out things. You actually have to take a break, revisit some old things, remind yourself why you loved it. If you feel like you loved a movie so much, go watch it. Maybe you'll realize the movie was trash. Maybe you'll realize the movie was so good. So you never know. I just feel like we need to have a shift of attitude where we need to vote with our wallets. No, because these people won't stop churning out these movies so long as we keep paying them. If we keep shelling out money, that's when they're going to keep shafting us. That's why they will keep on shafting us, and making products that we don't actually love, and all of these things that we are going through right now. So for me, that's my conclusion to today's topic. What about you guys? You can summarize your points. And then we end the show.
I'll just say I loved the music choices, as rock is one of the best genres you can use for such. So for me, that's my only takeaway from that movie. The music was at least good. Nothing else.
Okay. I don't know why, but I can't shake the product placements. They were so much forced in that movie.
What product placement?
What?
Which one?
I think there was a McDonald's or something burger in where the Asgardians are, New Asgard. There was something in that line. Yeah, but also, I think this is where we are now. As long as companies who have shareholders keep making the things we want to enjoy, we are going to have to enjoy these things. If eventually the bar is that low, and maybe there's profit by making such a cheap movie and a bad one, this is what we are going to get. Like you said, we need to vote with our wallets. But unfortunately, we will not. So maybe brace yourself. We are going to have many more type of movies like this. I don't think I have anything positive to say about the movie or the experience. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Yeah, we've come to the end of the show. Again, if you enjoyed this, if you want to suggest... if you enjoyed this, you know what to do. Make sure you like, subscribe. If you want to listen to us offline, maybe not even offline, but if you just want to listen to us, you don't want to watch the video, make sure you follow us on Spotify and all the other podcast platforms. Make sure you also join my Discord community. Join the forum section. Not the forum section, but the Discord itself. There's forums now. You can create forums for topics that you want me to talk about. You can message me through the bot. You can suggest new topics. You can hang out with my community. My server is really not that active, but that's the easiest way of reaching me and suggesting a topic we should talk about. And I don't think. Also, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember, my show goes live because people keep asking me, "Oh, so you need a podcast?" But I'm like, my podcast is always on Saturdays, 5 to 6 p.m. So, yes, just come to YouTube on Saturdays. The possibility of finding a podcast there is always high. Like us live is always high. So, yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say other than the MCU needs to be fixed. Disney has too much money. Fuck them. Hope they make better films. Please don't fuck up Daredevil, because if you do, I'm done with Disney. I'm done with Disney, kabisa. If they fuck up with Daredevil. Yes. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.